This story was sent to me by Craig J, and shout out to him for sending this to me. And this is coming out of Vegas. And this story is absolutely insane. And when you hear the title, you'll wonder why, like I'm wondering why the only thing that's affecting this man is a busted lip. Because after what you hear in the title, you're going to wonder why he's even alive. And this guy's name is Alan Wilson. And they said that he was accused of stabbing a 3-year-old girl 11 times during family Bible study in order to get the demons out of her. Now you hear that and wonder how he's even alive or even standing upright to even take a mugshot picture. Let's get into it. A 28-year-old man from Las Vegas, Nevada faces attempted murder charges after he allegedly ambushed a 3-year-old family member and repeatedly stabbed her with a knife in a purported bid to save her from demons. It sounds like to me he's the one that needs to be saved from demons, because that was a very demonic thing he did. Authorities said it happened as other relatives were studying the Bible. According to a Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department arrest report obtained by Law and Crime, Alan M. Wilson on March 31st stabbed a toddler out of nowhere as she ate dinner. Documents indicate that the victim is Wilson's niece. His half-brother is identified as the victim's uncle. Authorities said the stabbing occurred at a home where 5 family members had gathered. The toddler was sitting at the kitchen table eating butter noodles as Alan Wilson was pacing back and forth in the hallway between the bedroom and the kitchen table where the victim was sitting. Documents said Wilson's half-brother said the pacing is not unusual behavior for Alan, and he believes that Alan does this as a habit he developed in solitary confinement in prison. The witness said that the pacing went on for about half an hour until the family's Bible study session began. That's when Wilson allegedly walked up behind the victim as if to hug her, but stabbing her repeatedly in the side in an underhand motion. Police said Wilson then got into a physical altercation with 2 male family members who moved to disarm him, leading one of the 2 intervening men to suffer a stab wound to the right hand. Documents said the man needed multiple stitches and will need the opinion of a hand specialist to determine if there is any long-term damage to his tendons. Wilson allegedly said that he stabbed the girl because he believed he had to eradicate demonic forces. "I need to get the demons out of her. I need to save her," the suspect continually said, according to the affidavit. Family members said the suspect previously served time in prison for injuring a lady during a robbery. Wilson also had physically attacked family members and was recently released from what appears to be a medical facility. The facility is redacted from documents for apparent medical privacy reasons on March 25th, 6 days before the stabbing. Documents also indicate that Wilson has been diagnosed with a condition, though that too is also redacted. Wilson said, "What did I do?" before he left the residence, according to another family member. She said her husband and son struggled with Wilson over the knife in the kitchen. She also said that Wilson got out of prison in 2021 but had been in and out of the aforementioned redacted facility. According to cops, the defendant stabbed the victim 11 times, including 7 times in the back. The toddler also sustained stab wounds to the forearm, hand, triceps, and armpit. She's very lucky at the age of 3 to even be alive after being stabbed that many times and in the locations that she was stabbed in. The arrest report further said that the victim suffered a punctured right kidney, a lacerated spleen, and a penetrating wound to her posterior aorta. There was even a hole on the right side of her colon. Cops said that there was a blood trail from the front door to the driveway at the scene of the stabbing. After the stabbing, Wilson allegedly left the scene. Other family members, meanwhile, worked to get the toddler to the hospital. Authorities said the suspect was arrested under an hour after the stabbing following the tracking of his cell phone to a 7-Eleven. Cops said Wilson was pacing back and forth in the parking lot and took a hit off his vape pen before dropping the device and surrendering. It's unclear what the 3-year-old's condition is as of Monday morning, but she will reportedly have to undergo more surgeries. When the girl was rushed to the hospital where she was listed in extreme critical condition, in an ensuing interview with police, the suspect allegedly asked if the victim was okay and asked for an attorney. That was apparently the extent of the interaction between Wilson and law enforcement at Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Headquarters. Clark County Detention Center records reviewed by Law and Crime show that Wilson faces charges of attempted murder, child abuse, and battery with a deadly weapon. It's unclear if Wilson has an attorney at this time. The suspect's bond was set at $250,000. A motion hearing appears to be scheduled for 8 a.m. Las Vegas time on April 14th. And by the way, this article was like posted on April 11th, and it was just sent to me today on April 19th at the time of me recording this video. Man, this story right here is absolutely insane. And you notice that a lot of people that always say they're trying to eradicate demons out of somebody, that means that they have to try to kill the person in order to do it, because that's like in their way, that's their exercising. Now, me looking at this, before I even read anything, I'm thinking this guy was just one of those creep pastors, not the ones that like to touch on people, if you know what I mean, but the ones that's like way heavy into it, or maybe a heavily religious individual. Now, they said that this guy definitely has some medical histories of apparently some kind of mental illnesses, but they're not mentioning what it is because the records are pretty much sealed for privacy reasons. I wish they would let us know, especially since this has now happened, what kind of medical issues does this guy have? Because this guy sounds like he has a mixture of probably bipolar disorder and definitely some schizophrenia. The pacing back and forth for an hour definitely would have gave me some concern and raised some red flags, but the family member said that that's not unusual for him to do. And they said it really started to happen after he, you know, when he did a stint in prison. And it's crazy, he just got released from jail, and 6 days later, this is what he's in jail for. And he also went to jail for the same thing of pretty much assault on another female, but this time an adult. That I couldn't even imagine what the scene was looking like during that time. Now, it's interesting because they said he just walked back and forth and was pacing for half an hour just to himself. But the minute that they started doing the Bible study session, that's when he went off. So I wonder if it's something that was said in their session that triggered him, because they said he was just pacing back and forth before then. But when they started going into the Bible, that's when he went on the attack. And it also made you wonder what made him go after the apparently youngest person in the room, which was a 3-year-old girl. Like, that's wild to me. It makes you wonder, did he watch the movie The Exorcist recently, which of course we all know was about the demonic possession of a young girl, the devil entering her body and taking over her body. But that's wild. But whew. And then he injured other family members in the same, the same thing, to get him off of the little girl. And then when he got tracked to the 7-Eleven, they said he was pacing there too and was taking hits off of his vape pen. It's pretty clear that this guy definitely has some psychological issues, but they need to keep him in I don't know what they're going to do with him, because this time he almost killed somebody. So he might actually go back to jail, and for a much, much longer time than he was before. And then if he does get out, it would not be in the best interest to put him back on the street. They need to keep his ass locked up in a facility forever, because he is clearly a danger to society at large. If he'll do this to a family member, he'll do this to anybody. And he did, because how do you think he got in jail the first time? But the fact that this one hit close to home because it was a family member, he does not need to be out with people. He's not fit to be in public. He's too much of a high risk to be out in society. That's just my take on it. But I hope that the little girl does survive. Like I said, it's amazing to me that she even survived that. Because look at, he stabbed her 11 times, and where he stabbed her at. It's amazing that she's still breathing, and especially at her young age. She's only 3. And it's crazy, that this just shows that she has a lot of willpower to want to live. Because you have some people that are grown, fully developed, and probably wouldn't survive something like that. But that just means he probably, in the midst of where he was stabbing her, he probably missed arteries, which is, a good thing, because, you hit that artery, that's it. But I hope that she recovers from this. And if she does, she's definitely going to need a lot of physical therapy for sure. She's really going to have to work to restore herself. at such a young age. And then, you know, also the other family member, they said they was stabbed in the hand. They said they gotta see if that person can get hand therapy to make sure that they didn't hit any tendons that will cause nerve damage in their hands. You know, possibly the ability to probably throw with that hand, if they threw with that hand, or write with that hand if they wrote with that hand, or do things with that hand because of nerves. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this story.